In this section, we'll be dealing with static IV characteristics of an SCR. An elementary circuit diagram for obtaining the static IV characteristics of an SCR is shown. You can see that the anode and the cathode of the SCR, so this is the SCR, is connected to the supply E through a potential divider and a load. So this is how the anode and cathode is connected. So through the anode and cathode, by interchanging the signs, we can apply a potential difference across anode and cathode. We can either make anode positive with respect to cathode or cathode positive with respect to anode by interchanging the supply. The gate terminal is connected to a secondary source ES through a switch and a variable load. Now all these are important. Why? Because if the switch S is closed, a gate current flows through the gate and through the cathode. Now, as long as the switch is not closed, there is no supply to the gate and only a supply exists between anode and cathode. But the moment you close the switch, this circuit gets completed and a current starts flowing and a gate current flows through the SCR. Now, by varying the load connected to the terminal, we can control the amount of current flowing through the gate terminal. You will see why this is important. What is the amount of current that is flowing through the gate terminal is very important when it comes to static IV characteristics. It is very important in terms of turning on the SCR. For the time being, let us assume that this switch S is not closed and we are only applying a voltage across anode and cathode. So this is the static IV characteristics of an SCR. The reason we call it static IV characteristics instead of the usual VI characteristics is to make sure that you realize that the current is in the Y-axis whereas voltage is in the X-axis. So this current IA is the current that is flowing through the anode of the SCR, whereas voltage VA is the potential of anode with respect to cathode. So as you can see that this diagram has a lot of parts and there are several markings, several explanations. We'll move on to this as and when it is required. But for now, what you have to remember is that it is a variation of current with respect to voltage of anode that produces static IV characteristics. So this is plus VA, this is plus IA, minus VA and minus IA. And this is the path that is taken by the characteristics. There is reverse blocking mode and it is this part is known as reverse blocking mode. This part is known as forward blocking mode. The current that is flowing during that time, the amount of current that is flowing through that time is known as forward leakage current. This VBU stands for forward breakover voltage, whereas VBR stands for reverse breakdown voltage. And there is forward conduction mode also, which is also known as the on state. We will get to know what these are while explaining the static IV characteristics. There are certain other terminologies that are there, such as latching current and holding current. We'll look into that when we get to those portions. But for the time being, these are enough. Also, there is reverse leakage current also. We'll look into these terminologies in this section. Now, as I explained, you have realized that by looking at the characteristics, we can identify three modes of operation. One is reverse blocking mode, another one is forward blocking mode, the third one is forward conduction mode. Which whether this was reverse blocking mode in this characteristics. Let's just take color. This characteristics. This is the reverse blocking mode. This is included. This is forward blocking mode, and this is the forward conduction mode. Reverse blocking mode. Now, when does this occur? This mode occurs when the cathode K is made positive with respect to anode A, similar to reverse biasing of diode. If you remember the diagram, earlier diagram, you can see that here you have applied positive. Here we have applied positive, which means that the current will flow like this, and it will come like this, and it will flow in this manner, making anode positive with respect to cathode. But in reverse blocking mode, the opposite is happening, which means that here this point is made positive and this point is made negative, so that the current is flowing like this. Now it means that cathode is positive with respect to anode. So if you just take the SCR itself, you can see that it is similar to a diode with the exception of A terminal. Here this is becoming positive and this is becoming negative. So it is something similar to reverse biasing of a diode. So this mode occurs when the cathode K is made positive with respect to anode, similar to reverse biasing of a diode. Now what will happen? This would make the junctions J1 and J3 reverse biased, while junction J2 is forward biased. How is it possible? So if you look, you can see that this is becoming negative and this is becoming positive. Now if you consider this alone, this is a PN junction where positive voltage is being applied across the N type. Now what will happen? Then this will become reverse biased, right? This will become reverse biased. Similarly, take this PN junction. Here negative voltage is being applied across the positive one. So this will become again reverse biased. And junction J2 will always be opposite to what junction J1 and J3 is. And since these two are reverse biased, automatically J2 will be forward biased. Now what will happen? It means that, in usual cases of reverse biases, only small leakage current in the order of few milliamperes would flow. Now this state, the reverse blocking mode, is called the off state of the SCR, because there is no possible way of flowing of current. You know that it's a unidirectional device and current doesn't flow from cathode to anode. That is, if you make cathode positive with respect to anode, no current will flow, no major current will flow, and this state is therefore called the off state of the SCR. But if you look at the diagram, it's a potential divider. You can actually adjust the voltage. So what if I increase the potential? What if I increase the potential across this? That is, I am increasing the positive voltage higher and higher with respect to the anode. Then it is seen that there was a reverse leakage current that was flowing. It will remain almost constant until a particular voltage is reached. See, if you look at this diagram, you can see that this is the characteristics and this gap is the reverse leakage current. You can see that the magnitude is almost constant even when you increase minus VA. So this is minus VA or the negative potential of anode. So you are actually increasing the negative potentiality of the anode with respect to cathode. And you can see that the current, reverse leakage current, is almost constant until a particular voltage VBR is reached. Okay, so if we increase the reverse voltage, leakage current remains almost the same until voltage reaches the reverse breakdown voltage VBR. What happens? When the voltage reaches reverse breakdown voltage VBR, an avalanche breakdown occurs at junctions J1 and J3 and the reverse current increases rapidly. You know that, if you take this diagram, we have said that when you are applying a negative voltage at the anode and a positive voltage at the cathode, junction J3 and J1 has been reverse biased. So when you increase this potential more and more, a larger pressure is being developed at these junctions. And at the point of VBR, what happens is that this pressure will become high enough to break this junction and an avalanche breakdown occurs at this junction. And once the avalanche breakdown occurs, large current starts to flow. And that is what happened here. So up to this point, you can see that it is almost constant, but the moment VBR is reached, an avalanche breakdown at the junctions J1 and J3 occurred and the current peaked. Next, we move on to forward blocking mode. Forward blocking mode, this mode occurs when the anode A is made positive with respect to cathode K, similar to forward biasing of a diode. So this is the usual way of connection. So you can see that it's positive here and it's negative here, and you are applying a voltage in this manner so that a current flow can occur in this manner. A positive potential is applied across the anode and a negative potential is applied across the cathode. But you have to remember that still the circuit doesn't allow the flow of current. This is known as a forward blocking mode. This would make junctions J1 and J3 forward biased. Why? Because you are applying a positive potential here and a negative potential here. So if you take this PN junction, positive voltage is being applied to P type, and naturally this junction J1 will be forward biased. A negative potential is being applied across the N junction, and this will also be forward biased, and junction J2 will be reverse biased. Now, even then, only a small leakage current called forward leakage current would flow. If you look at the diagram, you can see that this is the section that you are saying. You can see that you are increasing the VA plus VA value, that is, you are increasing the potential across the anode, and even then the current that is existing, this is the current, the y-axis value. the current that is existing is a small current known as forward leakage current, and that is almost constant until a particular voltage known as VBO. And what you have to remember is that during both conditions, during forward blocking mode as well as reverse blocking mode, you are not applying any type of gate pulses. You can see that Ig is equal to 0. What is Ig? Ig is the gate current that is being applied. You have kept open the switch during all these modes. That is a very important condition to make sure. You have to make sure that there is no current being sent through the gate terminal during these modes. Okay? Only then whatever being explained will work. So as long as there is no current flowing through the gate terminal, the current will be very small and it will be maintaining at a small value until VBO is reached at point M. That is being mentioned here. SCR offers a high impedance and acts like an open switch even though the anode is positive with respect to cathode. You can see that anode was positive with respect to cathode. If it was a diode, the current would have started flowing. But here the SCR still acts like an open switch and offers a high impedance although the anode is positive with respect to cathode. Now if we increase the forward voltage, the forward leakage current remains almost the same until the voltage reaches the forward breakover voltage VBO. So you have to know the names. What is VBR? What is VBO? That you have to know. So VBR was reverse breakdown voltage, whereas VBO is forward breakover voltage. Now what happens? Assuming that no gate pulse is given, when the voltage reaches forward breakover voltage VBO, an avalanche breakdown occurs at junction J2. So remember, junction J2 was reverse biased, and as you increase the potential across the anode and cathode, only junction J2 is experiencing a force, because since J1 and J3 are forward biased, it will very easily allow the flow of current. So the only impedance being offered was by the junction J2, and as you increase the potential, that junction J2 keeps on experiencing larger and larger force until at VBO it breaks down and the mode shifts from forward blocking mode to forward conduction mode. Now we look at forward conduction mode as the continuation. So after the breakdown at M, what happens? The thyristor gets turned on and the voltage drop across it drops considerably and the point shifts to N. You can see that it was at M. Okay? But the moment it breaks down, the whole thyristor gets turned on, which means that there is no more high impedance being offered by the thyristor to the flow of current, which means that the voltage drop across the thyristor will fall and the point will shift from M to N. Now the operating point is at N. Now from this point onwards, for a small increase in voltage, what you're doing, how you're increasing voltage? You're increasing voltage in this direction. For a small increase in voltage, there is large increase in current. So in forward conduction mode, this is the path that is being taken by the current when you increase the voltage. Here NK represents the forward conduction mode. This is NK. NK represents the forward conduction mode, and this is generally called the on state of the SCR. So reverse blocking mode was the off state and forward conduction mode is the on state of the SCR. Now, here we saw that SCR was brought from forward blocking mode, right? SCR was brought from forward blocking mode to forward conduction mode by increasing the anode voltage up to VBO. And beyond VBO, if you increase the anode voltage, what happens? It shifts from forward blocking mode onto the forward conduction mode. Forward block mode to forward conduction mode, or in other words, what are we saying? SCR was turned on by increasing the forward voltage beyond the forward breakover voltage VBO. But there is another way to turn on the thyristor, and that is by applying a gate current IG. Now you have to look into what is a gate current. I have already mentioned that during this section, the gate current being applied is 0. IG is equal to 0. And here IG 0 is same as IG equal to 0. Okay? But the moment you apply a gate current, that is, you are actually closing the switch S now, you can see that IG3 is lesser than IG2, which is lesser than IG1, which means that IG1 is the largest gate current, IG2 is slightly smaller, IG3 is even smaller. So if we apply various values of current, now how do you control various values of current? I've explained. We have a variable load in that diagram. Okay, we had, if you look at the diagram, we have a variable load here. See, now by adjusting this variable load, what will happen? The current that is being sent through the gate terminal can be varied. So by varying this, we can change the current from IG3 to IG2 to IG1. That is what is being done here. So if you look into that, you see that when you apply a current IG3, and if you start increasing the voltage across the anode, that is, in the forward blocking mode, you are actually increasing the voltage across the anode. At this point, if you are applying a current IG3, it will shift to forward conduction mode. It will shift to N, and then it gets turned on. SCR gets turned on at this point. Now what if you are applying a larger current IG2? Then this is a path taken, and it will take only up to this point. Okay, the forward blocking mode voltage will only reach this point before it gets turned on. And if you are applying IG1, it will turn on at this point. So from this, we can conclude that larger the gate terminal current, larger the IG value, the quicker it shifts from forward blocking mode to forward conduction mode, or quicker the SCR gets turned on. Quicker in the sense that for a lower voltage applied across anode and cathode, the SCR gets turned on if the current that is being supplied through the gate terminal is large enough. And since it is bad for a device to apply high voltage across it, this way of turning on of SCR is generally used. So that is being explained here. If we look at the characteristics, we can see that if there is no gate current applied, IG equal to 0, the forward voltage has to increase beyond forward breakover voltage VBO for the SCR to turn on. But if we start applying gate current, we can see that larger the gate current, lower is the voltage at which the SCR turns on. This is one of the primary reasons for using gate current to turn on SCR.